office hours number 10. I think it's the 10th of these calls that we've done. Some quick housekeeping up front, and Taylor, let me know if the audio is okay on Facebook. As Nick was just talking about, I think the last session was 3.5 hours, and early on I think we were really good at moving it along in a snappy fashion, and then a little bit later the questions started to get longer and longer, and we want to be as diplomatic as possible, so I'm going to be a little draconian with the axe. So there might be some muting if people get long-winded. We want to make it as rapid fire and as high value for everybody. Also, just by a show of hands on video, how many of you guys are actively marketing on Instagram? Just out of curiosity, raise your hand if you are. Okay, good count. I'd love for you guys to put all of your Instagram handles into the chat window, because I want to follow every single solitary one of you and keep an eye on you, hold you accountable, and definitely jump on your Instagram lives, which I want to spend some time talking about. So that's going to be a big subject. And yeah, we can talk about the Instagram live whenever you want. And then also I'm putting an article in the show notes, and the title of it is called Know the Room, I think. Let me just make sure that I have that right. And it's just an interesting piece that a guy read today about marketing. It's called Read the Room. This marketer I respect, Grant Fishkin, I don't agree with everything he says, but he wrote up a pretty interesting write-up about, number one, how to think about marketing right now in this time that we're in right now. And then number two, there's a bunch of examples of brands doing really, really good marketing that is not insensitive to the times. So that's a worthwhile look. But other than that, I'm ready to go. Nick, do you have anything to add?
Just the main announcement, which is the print discount exclusive for Art Storefronts members. You've probably seen it. For those of you who haven't, just want to make sure that you know about it. It started last Thursday, a week ago. It's running for one more week. And the purpose of that is to give you an extra discount. So in case you want to run like a pandemic sensitive type of sale, you can do that. And, the less money is coming out of your pocket. That's the way that we are trying to do things here. When we tell you to discount, and when we're advocating, we want to discount too. So we got those discounts, and it's for Bay Photo or Graphic Dimensions if you're connected to either of them. So it's a good opportunity to do that right now.
Yeah, great opportunity to do that right now. I've got a rant I want to do about Instagram Lives, but I think we can jump right into the questions. And then when there's an appropriate time, I will talk about it, if that works for you, Nick.
Wonderful. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's jump right into it. Let's not waste any time. David, you are up first. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Oh, would that be me?
Yep.
Oh, I hate being first. So today I did my very first Social Boost Thursday.
Nice.
It was really, really cool. Starting to get lots of likes and comments. Mm-hmm. And being home, I'm probably going to like or comment on just about everybody's page that's on there, because I don't have a whole lot more to do than that, other than marketing. In this situation right now, and I'm sure other people have the same question, how do we really market our art and be in a positive mode without looking salesy as people are dying all over the planet? I mean, it's difficult for me to explain my feelings on this. I have a massive amount of friends in New York City and New Jersey that are sick right now, and I'm in Utah and it's almost not existent here. How do we do heart-centered marketing?
Well, I think that heart-centered marketing should be the norm. Like, it should have been that beforehand, and it should be it now, right? So like, here's the question. Why are you doing your art, right? Hopefully it's because you're trying to add value to the world and to brighten the lives of the people who buy it and or see it, right? Like, that's what I would hope. I mean, that's why I'm doing Art Storefronts. That's why we're doing it, right? We're trying to benefit your lives and make you guys better, and I think that the world's a better place if artists are, more successful, making more money from their own work, building their own business. And so if it comes from that and you're doing your romance marketing, then, I think you have no problem. Like, every bit of marketing that you do right now should be trying to brighten the lives of the people who see your work. And I think that that's just a standard.
Yeah. And I think one little disclaimer gets it done too, right? Like, my way of doing it, my personality would be like, in this dumpster fire of a situation we're in, I can either do nothing and be depressed, or I can put my work out into the world If somebody appreciates it, that's going to make me happy. And if somebody wants to buy it, that's okay too. Either way, I hope you're doing well and your family's safe. Done.
You know, it's funny. I got a call from a girl in New York that I haven't seen in 10 years and was never really a close friend of mine, but ran in my circles. And she bought 3 pieces of art from me yesterday because I just went through a huge box of art that I had taken from galleries that are closed right now that were all, you know, signed and numbered prints that are that. And she was like blown away. And I'm going to do it every day now. I'm going to literally be online every single day, going through that box, showing 10 pieces of art and selling them.
Yep.
Yeah, and I also think, like, don't stress about it too much, because, like, I think, you know, I'm speaking for myself, but I know that, you know, in talking to my friends, everybody kind of feels the same way. Like, there is a feeling around where, and I'm sure you guys feel it too, like for your local restaurants, but like, there's a feeling that we've got to support small businesses everywhere, right? And I think that, I mean, you guys are, like, by default small micro businesses, right? And I don't think you're going to offend anyone unless you're, like, overtly, you know, like, just kind of breaking the sensitivity in some bad way. But if you're sensitive to it, you know, and you're trying to add value, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, totally agree.
Guys,
Huge congrats on the sale too. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, blown away, right? Like, just for putting yourself out there. I mean, you could have sat down and not done anything, and look what you got.
Right? This is the thing. Like, art is selling right now. It's selling every single day, but you have to be creative. You know, you got to be doing some different things. The people who are creative are the ones who are making the sales. It's the truth.
Yep. Victoria, great question. Victoria, you're up next.
Hi, it's really great. Appreciate all the workshops that y'all have been doing. I have a real quick question on marketing. I'm just getting ready to launch my business. And so my husband has always created these frames for me for my artwork. And I wanted to include that on my marketing on, I guess, probably a unique page on my website. So I was just wanting to see if that needed to be limited editions, or if I'm not real sure how to market that.
I'm not fully understanding. So you're saying is it a limited edition? Is it a framed piece that you're talking about?
My husband builds the frames for me.
Okay, and you're a painter?
No, I'm a photographer.
You're a photographer.
Yeah, so what I do is usually put it in a metallic or a glass, and he builds the wooden frames out of cedar or kind of really pretty, you know, frame that we can find.
So are you doing self-fulfillment then? Are you doing automated fulfillment?
Well, like I said, I haven't launched yet. So all of this is just kind of new to me. I've never done any of this. So I got my website set up for the graphic dimensions to do those.
Oh, okay.
I do have that, but I also want to include this in as well.
So you have the automated fulfillment. And yeah, you would set that up as you could set it up as a limited edition product. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. So
and you'll, even if you sell it, whether you sell it as a limited edition or not, it doesn't matter. Because, like, you're using that functionality to have, like, the wall preview, the augmented reality and all that stuff, but it's something that you can actually self-fulfill.
Okay. So do I need to number those?
If you're going to do a limited edition, yes, you should you should sign and number them as you sell them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's great. Thank you.
And congrats. Welcome aboard. Get online and time to start marketing.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Pat Majors, you're up next. I like that name, Pat.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Hey, everybody. This is the first time I've done this, and I'm a little bit of an introvert, so it sort of scared me, and I've been trying to work myself up to doing this. This is 3 times, so this is a big deal that I'm doing this.
I'm glad you're doing it, because we're here to mentor and coach you. So.
Yeah.
So go for it.
Okay. So I started in June, but didn't know what the heck I was doing. Took a long time to make the thing, and then thought that people were just going to flock to it and buy stuff. I was one of those. I now understand that's not going to happen, and I understand that I have to go out and do some shows and do the fishbowl technique and all that, because I only have less than 100 email signups, and I know I need more. So I actually did that. I got 2 set up and they got canceled because it was March. Okay, so now I'm pivoting. And I've heard you about the collaboration with Instagram people and Facebook people. And now I'm thinking about Facebook ads also. And I listened to your first blog about that. Okay. And okay. So I am asking, I think I need to do the collaborator thing. I started that yesterday, a little awkward at it, but I started it. And then I listened to the Facebook thing this morning and wondering if I should do that too, once I understand like the beginning level of that. I'm an experienced artist my entire life. I'm in a very high-end gallery in Santa Fe. I've sold in galleries between $5,000 and $10,000, and I've started to do sculpture too. And the most I've sold one of those for is $3,000. However, it's what I'm doing right now. So I've been posting that on Instagram. So I thought I better put some of that on the website too and try to kind of link the two together. It's a little awkward yet. So the idea, which I really understand, of if you have less than 100 pieces to put them all on the homepage, I'm wondering if in my case that's right, because I'm wondering if I need those categories because I'm very prolific and varied also in my techniques and subject matter. And I'm afraid people will get a little bit lost, but that's part of my artistic character, is to do a lot of different things. It's a little odd and it's a little difficult for marketing. Galleries have had trouble with that too.
I mean, what I would do is, what I've been recommending to everybody is, you still want to have in your navigation menu, you'll have like shop art, right? Which is essentially like a
right. That's what I have. Yes.
And then if you hover over that, you should have your subject matter categories there.
I have like 6 or 7 categories.
I think if you have that, you're covered, because then your homepage has all the images on it, and all you're doing is you're making the experience really easy for a first-time visitor who's coming to the site, so they don't have to work very hard to like.
Oh, I get that, but what's looking like now is that there are 6 galleries on the homepage, and you have to click bestsellers, landscapes. That's the way it is right now. So all the images aren't there, just the lead image for each category.
Right. And if you have,
and you want all images total, 90 of them.
Yeah, I think you put them all there. And I think this decision is self-evident. I want you to go to your site.
I do understand it. I didn't at first. I do get it. It's because, especially on a phone, it's like you don't want to have to click twice to get to somewhere.
And let me tell you, especially when you start buying ads and you're spending money. I mean, I've gone through this for like 20 years, right? Like, it's called conversion optimization. And that's why we're giving these tips, because you'll notice that people will click on one thing and then they'll leave. And you're like, wait a minute,
it's the end of it.
He never saw anything, right? And and so if there's these applications, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but there's these applications that will like record visitor sessions on your site. You can literally watch their mouse and like what they do. And you when you're spending a lot of money, you know, those become more important. But like, after years of watching those types of things and doing this, people like Patrick and I know that, like, okay, you got to make it like really simple. And simple is in terms of, you know, page loads, clicks, less clicks, the better, less page loads, the better, things like that.
Okay. So, that totally makes sense to me. And can I go to get some help to how to do that? That doesn't make sense to me that they would show up in the navigation as galleries, but they're not separating galleries. I'll get somebody to help me with that.
It's the product gallery page functionality. It's super powerful. So the homepage is like like you basically just make another product gallery page and with everything on it. And because with product gallery pages, you can literally do whatever you want with them. You could pull any images and give it a title, right?
Okay, I'll just have to have somebody walk me through that a little bit.
Yeah.
One other question, because now I've started adding originals, because I want all these price points. The originals are very expensive. The prints are so much less. But now I've also put sculpture on just to link the two things, you know, like to see if I can bring sculpture people in and whatever. Does all that, does the originals land up on this homepage too?
Yes.
In this scroll of 90 images or whatever.
It depends on, like, what do you sell the most of?
in real life
And
originals.
then
Yeah,
you're
this whole print thing is because I have a lot of inventory and I just thought it should work. And I'm going to make it work, but I'm doing everything wrong.
I always recommend whatever business was working for you pre-Art Storefronts, like keep doing that and make that the focus. So if originals were the things that we're selling, make the originals front and center.
But the price point's so high that it's, you know, there's not enough of them. That's really why the prints.
Got it. But here's
so what about the Facebook ads? Yes to that.
Yeah,
I should go down that road and learn the.
Let me give you one more piece of advice on that,
Okay.
that you can take to the support team, right? Tell them I mentioned this. They're on here too, so somebody might write down and remember. But what you can do is it's called the side-by-side product feature. So you may have done. Did you do this?
Yes, I understand that the original and then or they both show up or something else comes below.
Exactly. They show up on one page. So it's one image
thing.
and then there's the links that's like limited edition original, right?
Yes.
So what you like, so that's the way that I would do it. You know, that's the way I might do it. Like if I were on your site. So that way you don't have like the original and the other image. You just have the one.
Oh, like you wouldn't even separate. You wouldn't put it in two places. Like here's an originals gallery and here's all the rest of it.
Originals gallery too. I'm just referring. Yeah, absolutely. You need to have an originals like link in your navigation, right? That has to be there. Because for those clients that are like, I'm only buying an original, like those people exist, and they need to just go, okay, I'm going right there, and that's the end of it, right? But for your homepage to give like the maximum, you know, options, you can show the image, and it'll be your open edition. It'll be your art print product, right? And but when they click on it, it's going to give them all the options. Yeah,
yes, I've seen that happen.
I think that's the best way of doing the homepage. Okay,
and getting with the collaborators on Facebook, or is that mostly Instagram? No, it's Facebook too. It's both, the groups in Facebook. Okay, when you, and this applies to photographers too. You know, if I have a certain, like I have a Western category, so I go after cowboys and Old West people.
Exactly.
But and kind of act like that's the kind of artist I am, although I'm also all this other stuff that's irrelevant to them.
Yep,
so I can
worry about that.
Subgroup all that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Even if you have one piece, that's awesome. You know, go like that's exactly right.
And thanks for the questions, Pat. Welcome aboard. And as a final, it's everyone's tendency to start overthinking like the layout and the homepage when you're just getting started. You're good enough. What you have on the site is great. The site will convert. 100% of the focus should be on the marketing and very little on the tweaking the site until you get some visits going. That's just
and Pat, I would exhaust this free strategy that we're talking about of these collaborators first before you start spending a bunch of money on ads. I think that you got to really get some more leads and things going, you know, some traffic and stuff like that, and then I think the right time will present itself.
Yep. All right, Johnny Spas, you're up next.
Hello.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, that sounds like my house over there.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
I've got 2 prints and potentially originals, but I haven't really listed it that way. Through a website that I've partnered with. Basically, I'm representing a race driver through these 2 particular images.
Okay.
And I'm getting like twice as much traffic coming from that site as I normally do. And I've only sold 2 prints, and I've been on there with them basically for about a month and a half. And I'm wanting to know how to convert that over to get more sales.
So you're on I didn't really follow. Did you?
Okay. So check it out.
You have some prints up on another website, not your Art Storefront site. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say that. They basically have a shop section, and then that directly links into my Art Storefront site. So it's a bit of a click around, but I've linked it directly to that specific print. Okay.
Got it. And have you looked at the stats, and you're saying your traffic is up? Are they opting into your email list? Have you looked at that at all?
I'm getting signups. I'm not like every single one. Like the last time I looked for the last month, it was like 188 people came in. and which is great, but I don't have like 160 email signups or anything like that.
No, you don't. 5% is good.
Sure.
So wait, Johnny, what's your name so I can look up your account?
This is Alex Wakefield.
Oh, Alex. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Your name in Zoom, it says Johnny Spot.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. Pat, if you have any other questions or anything while you guys, or Alex, if you do, while I'm pulling this up, it might take a second.
Yeah, I'll deal with it. So what I would do is I would look and see that the emails that are coming from that particular traffic source, because really what you're trying to validate is it valuable traffic or is it not, right? And that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. And so what I would do is I would immediately go hand-to-hand combat. I would look every single solitary day, how many emails did I get from that traffic source? And I would go right into the email and I'd write them a personal email and say, hey, thanks so much for checking out the site. Did you have any questions? What did you think about the piece?
Okay.
That's it.
That's cool.
See what kind of response you get. And the idea is that you just want to start a conversation there to try and get some like, yeah, I thought it looked cool, but you know, with this COVID thing going on right now, okay, I realize if you really did want it, you know, I understand things are tough. If you want to negotiate on it, sure, right? Like you just want to open up the conversations and try to get a little bit of intel, little feedback. Okay,
that sounds good.
So Alex, is this the official willietribs.com site where this is coming from?
Yep.
Yeah, so you got a 5.58% contact conversion rate in the Conversion Doctor report. I like that. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I'm sure when did this start? When did this traffic start coming in?
After the release of the Netflix movie Uppity.
So when was the date?
Would have been early February.
Early February. Okay, yeah. So it hasn't been that long. It's only been 2 months.
Right.
And these people are essentially like, it's the first time that they've ever heard of you, right? Or seen your work.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's nothing wrong here. It's early. You're collecting the leads, which is good. I mean, something that you could try is do an automatic coupon discount. If you're familiar with that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically like it's in this place where you do the discounts, right? You do a coupon, but an automatic coupon will slash the price automatically so that they don't have to type in a coupon code. And the benefit of that is that when you're leading them directly from that website to a product page, which is what you're doing, it might be interesting to have the price slashed out on there. Just those, right? You don't need to do it site wide, but you could do it only for those specific products that are coming from that site and see if that converts them, you know, in any way. And you might even add some language on there that's like, these prints are, you know, like in the short description of those specific products, you might add some red text on there that's like, these prints are, you know, especially on sale right now during this blah, 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 or something like that. And like put an end date on it. And you might even update the end date like once a week so that it feels like it's ending at the end of the week. But if you do that, you very well may get a couple more people to just buy right on the spot, knowing that, whoa, this thing is like it's 20% off and it's, you know, I need to get it right now. Maybe I should just get it right now.
Right. I'm thinking like if I do a percentage off, it'd be like 15 max.
Whatever you want.
Yep.
So, but okay. Well, it's good. If I got the numbers going, you see everything ship shape, I'll give that a shot and see what happens.
Yep. Good work on it too.
All right, great. Thank you.
All right. Brendan, you're up next. You're unmuted.
Cool. Yeah, I've got a question. So I just started last year full-time. I was working on the side of my regular job for 7 years as an artist, and then kind of got where I was producing enough and earning enough that I could go full-time last year. So I started Art Storefronts in like May or something like that, and just kind of hit it hard. And I did 14 fairs last year. I haven't done everything that you guys suggest with the marketing, but I've got about 7,000 to 8,000 in prints that have been bought since then. So it's decent. And my followers, my Facebook is not huge and stuff like that, but I've been kind of like figuring out the production and the running around affairs and stuff like that. One thing that's come up is I do a lot of stuff on coffee shops and interiors in Minneapolis. And then I used to live abroad for a lot in London and Paris. So kind of places I've captured. And a couple of the small businesses around here are, you know, launching little things to help their employees while they're shut down, or save the business while it's not able to run. And so I've been in touch with one of the owners. He's a great fan of my work, and they have more like 37,000 followers and people that really, follow their community. And I wondered if you had recommendations on pairing with him. My idea that I proposed to him was that I've done so many of his interiors that if we do some sort of promo where people following him buy a print from me, that I'll donate 25% to the employees of that place. And kind of like a joint venture, because that's what he's trying to do, is have people, do a virtual tip jar and stuff like that. And if there's a way to do kind of a code that isn't a percentage discount, I want people to just put that code when they order something, so I know that that's how they got there. And then I can donate part of what I make. And that's gives me a much greater audience than I normally have.
Yeah, so there's a better way of doing that, actually. It's through the use of a special marketing tag in the URL. So what you want to do, correct me if I'm wrong, you want to give them a link to come to your site and buy, and you want to know who it was, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That they were motivated, how they got that. So it's for people particularly that are wanting to support that chain.
Yeah, okay. So there's, I'm going to have my team send you something after this, because it would be just, it's not even worth it trying to explain, but because it's technical. Well, it's not that technical for you. It's just the article will be extremely helpful. And that's the way that you'll be able to know whether they came from that website or that person's social following.
Okay. Cool.
But great idea, and definitely double down on that. Number one. Number two, dude, congrats. Full-time artist. That's a big step. Good for you,
no, it's been good, and everything was going great till February or till end of February. As kind of a second question, I was going to ask if you have recommendations then, because the way that I've actually been successful in selling prints through my site is a lot of people would see me at the fairs. They couldn't afford my originals, or I'd sell originals, but people that wanted them, and then they would go and they would buy the prints. And so that, even though I've been doing a lot of the online stuff, a lot of the Facebook and Instagram, it's actually people that have seen me and seen my work at the fairs and then gone is where I've been more successful. And all my fairs, like I was supposed to be in London, Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles, Milwaukee, everything, and they're all canceled, right? So none of those opportunities exist now to the end of June at least. And I'm wondering if you guys have recommendations on things that have worked for either getting to people that will still consider those originals or other ways, because it's just, I don't seem to be generating the kind of traffic and response that others that I've heard you speak to too. And I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but when people see my work in original, they buy them, I was on track to do about 95,000 for my first year as the end of February. So that was all working. But now with the shutdown of the fairs and getting in front of people, it's kind of dried up.
Okay, so I could talk about this for a little bit. I'm gonna go from like beginning to end here, Brendan. So in non-pandemic times, okay, like the right strategy that you've got going on right now is like, you would want to do these art shows that you normally do. You would want to 100% make sure that you are collecting as many leads as you can at those shows.
I do the fishbowl and I do the print thing.
How many emails do you have on your list?
About 1,000 now.
About 1,000. Okay. Yeah. So like that should just continue when you can, right? Yeah. Like, because those, like, I use this analogy often, but it's like, that's a fishing pole, right? Every one of those shows is like a pond, and one fishing pole in that pond. You're generating leads from those. Fantastic. You basically want to always do that. If it works for you, you should look to scale that as far and wide as you can go, right? Like within your state, within neighboring states, like wherever you can scale that, scale it. Because when a marketing channel is working for you, you need to like pour gasoline on it as much as possible, right? So that even if you, I mean, I hear like a lot of people when I say that to them, they're like, but I don't like doing shows and
I like shows.
Yeah, you like it. So I'm speaking to other people right now, but the point there is when you get a marketing channel working, right? Sometimes people just can't get online working. They it's too difficult of a subject matter. It might be too abstract or something like that. And they just can't figure it out. And the only way that they get it working is offline, right? But what you want to do is if you're selling offline at the shows and you're collecting all those leads and you take that, those are the seeds from which to grow your online, business. Okay. And there was a stat that came out. We've mentioned this a few times recently. It just came out like 2 weeks ago from this outfit in Switzerland, but they did a study on like art shows. And it was that only 64% of sales are made in person at a show.
Yeah.
The other 36% has to be done on your website after the fact with you, right? And so, so obviously that's, you know, you're doing that. You're doing the fishbowl technique, which is great. So the next thing is, so with these emails, have you ran the website giveaways? Are you following the art marketing calendar?
A little bit. The part that's a little different for me is when I did some of the kind of more aggressive weekly emails and stuff like that, people were really dropping off. So I do a monthly newsletter that I get really great comments on and people come back, and it seems to be, it's more of a slow burn. You know, and I might be being a little more tentative, but it's such a mix because I have like past colleagues on there. I have a lot of good friends. I lived abroad for 10 years and I worked in international nonprofit stuff. So it's a real mix of people that I don't want to pound every week, and then other people that are less known to me. But when I've done that, honestly, there's a lot of drop-offs, and it seems like the kind of more maybe slow romance is the way to put it. It seems to be more comfortable for me and them.
Or are those people, I mean, the thing that we say is don't ever worry about unsubscribes ever. Okay. It's going to happen. I used to worry about it like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I can't remember. But now I don't even know how many people unsubscribe. We don't even watch that as a metric because we know that, like, I mean, here's a great way of, I've never said this before, but here's a great way of looking at it. Like the people that, if you're going to sell some more art, like let's say you're able to like if there's a way to increase your sales by like 20% in the next month with the existing people that you have, it's not the people who are considering unsubscribing from your list and are all the way over here. It's the people over here that actually love what you're doing, but haven't bought yet. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so there's all these people on your list are never going to buy, more than likely, right? This back, call it like the back, like 30% or 40%. They're just there. They might've signed up for whatever reason and they don't really care and it bothers them, you know? Right. So they unsubscribe, get them off your list. It's not a big deal. Like, don't even worry about it because, they don't want to be there anyway. They're not going to buy. It's not helping you. And it may even be hurting your email deliverability rates with like Google and some of these other providers, because if they're not opening them and they're like clicking the spam button or whatever it is, that hurts you, you know? So it's never good to have people on your list that don't really want to be there, you know? So just look at it like when you're generating emails and all that stuff, like, you know, 20% of the people are going to drop off. I mean, it's probably not even going to be that high, but just like have that in your mind and you'd be like, no worries. I'm just going to get more and more and more, you know, and the more that I get, the less is going to drop off, you know? Okay. So anyways, but back to the giveaway, the giveaways and the art and like the art marketing calendar is really designed to like amplify everything that you've already got, right? So if you do a giveaway, have you done a giveaway yet?
Yeah, I did.
How did you do on that? How many emails did you collect on it?
It was big because we have this huge annual spring event in Minneapolis. It's called Art Whirl, and there's about 40,000 people that come. It's an open studio in a whole district. And so I just opened my studio and we get thousands of people. I mean, it's huge. And that was my biggest jump. This was last year. And so I got a few hundred for sure. And then I was doing the giveaway because it was in my studio and positioned. It was, you know, better than if there was more space. So that worked really well. But I do think that I also gained a lot of people that just wanted the freebie and then dropped off after that. So it's kind of a mix.
That's nothing to worry about.
That's okay. It's part of the deal. But you did it online. You did the whole playbook online that we
did. I did. Yeah.
Okay. So so from here, what we're advocating is that
and some of those people, by the way, ended up buying a lot of money in prints later.
Awesome.
Like one guy that came to that, he's bought about 2,500 for his office and just kitted out with 3 different things. So
that's great. Yeah. Exactly. So like with the giveaways, it's like you're going to get a bunch of people who are just there for whatever, and then you're going to get quality people as well. It's a tactic to just do that, right? I mean, when you think about it, you're going to get the same thing at shows too, right? You'll get somebody who's never going to buy. It doesn't really matter. But so to finally answer the question, you know, all the way through, this tactic that we're advocating everybody to do, which is contacting these influential Facebook accounts or Facebook groups, and then Instagram accounts, and then running giveaways with them. Those are like, consider those like every one of them is almost like a show, like another show, because they have their own following of people. And if you believe that quality people exist in that following, then, you know, we've got a playbook for it on how to reach out to all these guys.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
It'll be in our show notes. on this, and it's in the pandemic response marketing kit. That's in the marketing vault as well. And that's what we're totally advocating, because it's right now when you're at home, like this is the perfect thing to do. Like find all of those accounts. I was saying on Tuesday, if it were me, I would be contacting like probably 20 to 30 of them a day.
Yeah.
Right. Like just because it's a numbers game, you know, you'll contact 10 of them and maybe only 3 of them will respond or be worthwhile. But you can utilize, and this is the other thing too, is that you can utilize like the, depends on how much you want to invest on each of the giveaways. But I recommend this for other people who are maybe more financially strapped, utilize the photo paper prints, because they're so cheap for you. And you can offer like a 20 by 30, which is a big size, and it costs you almost nothing. Like it's like, I mean, I got to look at the price. I keep saying it, but it's got to be like $20 or $23. But you guys, you know, you can offer it for so much more. And if you do that, you could use a metallic paper. Like you could there's some interesting ones in there that will kind of spice it up if you want. But by doing that, you can do way more of these, you know? And, but the better print that you give, you know, the better off you are. But you might start off with one of those and then use that to find the groups and the Instagram accounts that actually really work for you. Cause you're going to know, you know, you'll know which one it is that actually does it. Because it'll be like that giveaway that like takes off, right? For that specific one. And then the next time you might be like, okay, we're going to do a metal print next time, or we're going to do something bigger and more expensive, you know, and then you'll want to build a great relationship with that account, because you'll probably want to do one once a month or once a quarter if they'll do it, you know?
Right.
So that's what I would do. Pat, what would you say?
As a final, I'm on your website right now, and the footer links that you have for Facebook and Instagram and Twitter are generic. You got to fix those. It's really easy to do. Other than that, I love the minimalism, and I'm gonna mute you now to keep things moving. I would follow that playbook, and then definitely. Well, let me unmute you for 1 sec. How many Instagram followers do you have?
About 900.
About 900. Okay, keep working on that. I'm gonna go on a rant on Instagram Live and some point in time on
that. When he does that, Brendan, listen, because that may apply to you with this other big account that you mentioned already. No
question it could. Okay, Ben Fink, you're up.
Okay, sorry, I was working on the images. So I've got a couple questions, and I'm very excited. I'm new. I've only been on for about a week. Going live, finishing up some audit.
Awesome.
So going live soon. So I wanted to put on the front of my page that I will be updating images soon, like regularly, weekly. My plan is to put up 5 new images a week to keep it fresh and keep people coming back. So I was wondering where I might put that.
I'd put that in the announcement bar. It's go to the header and footer when you're in your site manager. There's an announcement bar, and it'll be at the very top, fixed at the very top of your screen of your website.
Right, and that's where I have already set up free shipping.
Yeah, I would just put another line right underneath it.
Okay.
That just says like, hey, every week 5 new images, and that's it.
Great. Second question. I've noticed people have their images in environments, such as living rooms, bedrooms, kitchens, whatever. Are those generic environments that you drop your image into?
Are you referring to like the wall preview that shows them in those environments?
It's usually on the front page. It's on a front page of a.
Oh! Like if somebody's just going to put like a billboard with like a bunch of their images in certain environments. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
That would be, they're probably buying a template off of like Shutterstock or one of those websites, and you can.
I mean, I do a ton of retouching, so that's not complicated for me to do.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if that's something that is around the, in sort of
I would maybe post that in the Small Wins private group. Somebody might have something for you.
Ron just posted that Art Rooms is an app. It's called Art Rooms, so I'm sure you could probably just Google that and get that going.
That said, we haven't seen that those really do anything from like a conversion standpoint at all. So you definitely don't need it. If you really want it, you can put it on there.
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine who's actually, I sent her to the site. She's a collector, and she loved the site. She loved how it worked. And her only suggestion was to actually show these like I'm offering 3 different finishes or 3 different products, and that's a rag.
The media types.
A canvas and a plexiglass.
Yeah.
And I just want to keep it narrow. And
are those are you using the automated fulfillment?
I am for this. Okay. I am going to be offering some originals.
So we've got this covered for you. Patrick, where are we on those merchandise?
Uh-oh, somebody's it shouldn't be. I got it. I don't know how it happened. Yeah, we're close. We're really close. So, you ever seen the Family Guy? How's that novel coming that you're working on? Right.
Do you want to explain to Ben what we've got coming though for him on these media types?
Yeah. So I got this huge pallet-sized shipment from Graphic Dimensions of every single solitary media type imaginable, and I hired like a studio photographer guy to shoot them all so that we can, explain the merchandising of each medium. So what it looks like on the wall, what a bunch of them looks like on the wall. Is it ready to hang? You hold it sideways. You look at the texture. You look at the glare. You look at the finishes. Everything. And so we're going to have these things in various different formats that you can, sort of educate your customers, because so few people know. Like people just don't even know. They don't know what acrylic is. They don't know what the difference between acrylic and metal is. They don't know what's ready to hang, what's not ready to hang, what the textures are. And so they're coming soon. You got to just give me a hard deadline on these things.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a hard deadline on that. But Ben, we totally agree with you that it's the proper business term is like merchandising, right? Like, and so we believe that every Art Storefront site, when you hover over like Canvas, should have like a beautiful video showing what a canvas print is, what a metal print is, the front, the side, all that stuff. So we've spent a lot of money on this. I mean, it like $10,000-$20,000 already on this project. It's super professional. And so those will just be there when they're ready. I would say, let's just say like within the next 60 days. So when you hover over a media type like Canvas, there'll be a video right there showing them exactly what that is. And they should just, if they like it, then, they'll probably add it to their cart. It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
You have one more? He's got one more.
I got him. I got to keep it moving.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Unmute. All right, Patricia Looney, you're up.
Hi, I'm brand new to this. I've been reading your emails for over a year. So I have a project right now with high school seniors. I'm a high school senior photographer. And to give back to the community, the seniors are missing their senior year. So I decided to spend the month of April on Instagram. Each day I feature 3 seniors. And then I told them that I would give them a prize for whoever had the most comments at the end of the month.
Smart. I love that. Smart.
Oh, thank you. But the only problem is I have really good ideas, but I never know how to close the sale. Like I do things for exposure and to give back, genuine caring about, but I also need to keep my business going. And I don't know how to make this work for my business.
And you're trying to get the high schoolers' parents to buy the images, right? I'm assuming not the high schoolers.
No. So these are my clients, and they had their session back in the summer. And so they've already purchased from me, but for the month of April, they don't graduate until June. So for the month of April, I'm featuring them, and they're going to be featured 3 different times on Instagram. And so then people comment on their Instagram posts, and the one who has the most comments is going to win a prize from me, which is it's called the Senior Yearbook, and it's 200 images from their phone of their friends and things that I'm going to design and put together for them. So I'm not selling anything. I'm not booking anything. I know there's great value because I've been doing this in the community for 10 years, photographing seniors, but is there something I should be doing to collect email? I mean, like, it's not
Always.
email orientated or anything. How do I make a little bit more of this than just goodwill?
Oh, I love this question. I love this question. Yeah, it all starts at the beginning, right? So you're getting paid to take these photos, and that's part of your business. The part of the business that you would like to grow is selling these things to the parents after the fact. Do I have that understanding?
Yes, yes.
So number one, the parents need to know, and I think it's a little bit harder after the fact than it is the next time you get into some of these sessions. So let me just take it from there, and then you can backwind. One, I would have an assistant. The assistant would have a table set up. On the table, I would have all of the various different media types and various different sizes that are on offer. Your assistant would be talking to the parents. Are the parents at the shoot when you shoot the high school kids, or no?
Yes, they are at the
They are
shoot
at
when
the
they,
shoot.
yeah.
But there you go. There's the table with all the media on it, everything ready to go. And you have a special that for the next 48 hours, if you do order, in the next week, if you do order, we like to do a show special. We always want to try to sell these things. So if that's something you'd like to do, here's what it is, here's what it costs, and have your assistant gather emails as well. And then you could follow up with them after the fact. But number one is just letting the parents know that you have all these things on offer, which is just a fantastic opportunity. And then number two, trying to gather the email at those point in times. And then you can email and follow up. Graduation's almost here. If you have any last minute people on your list that needs a gift, that wants a picture of your senior, we can send it in all these various different media formats. And then I would also use that as sort of a stealth way into potentially growing the portrait business outside of just the senior photos. Which, do you have any interest in doing that?
I photograph children as well. So I tell people
Oh.
children from toddlers to teens.
Yep. So I would have that part of the business on highlight on the table. I would make the table huge. I would definitely get a good assistant because you can't be in two places at once. And I would really make that a part of my process going forward. And, especially as you branch out and you get into the toddlers and everything else, like your business has great LTV. If you get in there and make a good connection, you're the go-to gal for the next 20 years. So you need to let them know that you have all these incredible media types. You need to show the media types. Someone needs to be educated enough on them to be able to articulate which ones are great and why. And you're going to do fantastic. Your average order value, AOV, of those sessions will go through the roof, but you're going to need someone to tag team it straight up.
Here's my other advice. Have something on the spot to close them on.
Yeah.
Okay.
A package of some sort.
A package that's, normally $1,000. Hey, but if you get it today, right here, it's $750, right? Like that's how you're going to get them. That's how you're going to get them, right? And so right now you could also have like a pre-graduation sale or something, right? Like, I mean, I don't know if they're doing that, if they're even doing graduation or whatever, but under normal circumstances, you can get people to buy a package right now by having some sort of like, hey, I'm going to reward you if you buy the package right now. Because it's in advance. This could be January, February, and you reward those people because you need to get people like when they're hot at that moment because they will cool off. It's a very, very important thing. That's why like discounts with scarcity work, in sales and stuff. And so if you happen to get in, if somebody, if you have a client, and that's why like with the babies, like with that stuff, you got to have that stuff ready to go right there on the spot too. Hey, I'm doing your senior portrait. You got other kids? Like, hey, I do this also. And here's a package and it's on sale today. Right? Like, and so you need to have those things ready to go, give them an incentive and a reason to buy something on the spot. And that'll completely change everything. Like when you are in person, have something ready to go, and make it good so that they want to get it.
We need the merchandising videos first, and then we need a playbook on this, but welcome aboard. Congrats. And definitely keep coming with questions in a session, and I'll think on some other unconventional stuff too, because your question's a longer one. How to get that complete?
I also want to mention to everybody that if we have to move on and you have an extra follow-up question that can't wait, the rest of our marketing team is here in the chat, and they're answering questions for everybody. So if it's a question that you want to ask, they probably know the answer to it. So go ahead and ask it in the chat window, and Taylor or Chris. Or both will get back to you quickly.
Yeah, or catch us on one of our Instagram lives. Anytime that I'm live or Nick's live on Instagram, you can jump right into those sessions and ask questions. But I need to be I need to be the bulldog on this, on moving this thing along, because we want to get as many people's questions as possible. Okay, Ben, you're up.
Hi, how are you all?
Good. Welcome back. How you doing?
Good. Patrick, I think you know what I'm going to ask you. I emailed you this morning. I want to do Instagram on the business side. And what I'm worried about, if I do an audience, will I keep all the people I already have on Instagram, or do you have to start over again?
Yep. Not only that, it's it's reversible. You can go back.
I can go back.
Certain you can go back. Like you can turn it into a business page and then say, I don't want to be a business page anymore. Now I want to be a personal page again. You can go back. Taylor, Google that, will you? And find out about that for sure. But yeah, you're not going to lose any of your people at all.
I'm not going to lose my people. Okay.
Not a single one.
So on Insta, I've decided that Instagram is much better for me than Facebook. I've actually sold a few prints before even I was on Art Storefronts by just people seeing my work. Not a lot. I probably sold like 3 or 4 in the last 6 months. And I thought that was pretty unbelievable. And my kids who are like in their 30s, they don't even use Facebook anymore. It's like they're on Instagram and they're on other platforms. And I just kind of find that everyone that's bought my work has been under the age of 50, which to me is young. So I just kind of feel like I want to try Instagram more. I get a lot of good reviews. I don't get a lot of people buying. Unfortunately, what I find is you get a lot of artists who are like you, liking your work. I'm looking to get the people that are going to buy.
Yes.
So you think the business platform is going to help?
Yeah. I mean, I think the only changes are from the advertising standpoint. I would have to Google and see why we did that. Because I remember we had a personal and we moved it to business. And I think it was because for the purposes of running ads specifically. Right. But I can Google that. Taylor, will you just Google that and find out what the pros and cons are and throw that into chat. And don't do it yet until we look at that, because I think it's just from the advertising.
I won't do it yet. Okay.
It's not going to make any difference from your followers or having access to followers or how people follow you. Like no one even knows the difference whether you have one of those pages or not. So
right. Okay. That's all I have to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ben, I'll say to you too, the fact that you sold some prints on Instagram, like it tells, like, that's very important, right? That's like, that tells me like, okay, you want to figure out who were those people? How did that happen? And it also proves that it is worth investing further in Instagram. So I think your thinking is totally correct. I would definitely look to build that out.
Okay. The other thing, one more question. On my website, I have 4 categories and I have the bestseller. Okay. Is it bad to have more than 4 or 5 different categories? I mean, is it overwhelming to people? I know you said that bestsellers is good because you take the 4 or 5 best from each category and you put it in there because people don't want to spend a lot of time looking at each category.
Yeah, I think if you're going to have a category, like it should try to have like quite a few images in it, like let's say 30 or like, otherwise you're just making people work too hard. And I think if you go through your own website, like everybody's situation is so unique. It's hard to like give blanket advice, but I think that, less categories, if you have less than 100 images, like just put them all on your homepage approximately, right? If you have 105, I'd still do it. We have to say a number. So, but like, if you experience your own website on a phone, I think it'll become self-evident to you like, whoa, I'm working way too hard to see all of these images. And you might think about like, hey, how do I want to change the categories?
Okay.
Like you might group 2 of them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because I've been posting a lot of Italy and France lately, pictures I haven't looked at in 5 years in Lightroom. And I'm going like, why haven't I even looked at this photograph? And I'm posting them and I'm getting some of the most amazing responses. So I kind of feel like I'm going to do a category of Italy and France together.
Love it.
Yeah, that works for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have some Instagram advice for you in a second once we get through all these calls.
Yeah. And Ben, make sure you do the Instagram account playbook. That's in the show notes. Make sure you do that.
Okay. So this account gets you better in-app analytics and allows you to link out of your stories after passing 10,000 followers. And I think the only con is that you can't set your profile to private anymore after that point. So I don't think, I mean, you have to get to 10,000 followers to link out of the story. So if you're not close to that, I would just keep plugging away with what you're doing. But yeah, good questions. Okay, Temi, you're up. You're unmuted.
Oh, sorry, that was quick. All right, hi guys.
Hey, Temi.
How are you? Quickly, the other day when I came on, I told you that I haven't been on your previous sessions. So I realized that you guys had talked about the experience page. Question, what is the experience page? 2, I created the experience page. You can check my website to see it and give me feedback on it as to what I should or should not do. 3, where should I place it? And how is the experience page different from the main page? I'm sorry, you said I was on, so I'm just throwing it at you.
Oh, no worries. I mean, the experience page is so new right now. We actually haven't had a chance to we literally launched it and this whole pandemic hit like the next day.
Okay.
And we have a list of like the 10 different uses for it. And we're gonna like build that out and show everybody. And so I wouldn't necessarily use an experience page unless you specifically have a reason and a desire to use one.
I already created it.
Yeah, what are you using it for?
That's what I wanted to know because I told you I homeschool, so I'm pretty late on what you guys are talking about. So I just created it thinking, okay, when I create, I can ask you, what should I do with it now? I mean, I haven't fully put in I haven't removed all the Latin information, but I put the pictures and images and, laid everything out. So I just didn't know, is this something that we all have to have? If I don't need it, I'll just, remove it.
I would just remove it or just turn it offline if you don't need it for right now.
Okay, great.
I'd rather do that to just simplify, because I don't want people just building experience pages just to have them. I'd rather have you guys focused on the marketing, because that's what's going to really get you sales.
Yep.
Okay. Your colleague was going to say something. I'm sorry. Was he going to say something to me?
Oh, I was just going to say, we'll end up coming with some tactical after this dumpster fire COVID situation goes away.
Okay. Now, you're a little bit confusing with this whole graphic dimensions thing, because I know what they both do between graphics and Bay. Should I change? I'm with Bay right now. Should I convert over to graphics dimensions if you're going to have all these different features and additional stuff that would help educate the client? Because I'm doing YouTube videos to explain what these different things are, my materials, the framing and whatnot, to make it more personal. Mm-hmm. Should I continue to do what I'm doing, or should I just convert to the graphic dimensions so that it is going to be easier for the potential client to access the information about the different mediums? What should I do?
It will apply to Bay. So I would stay exactly where you're at. You don't need to change. You don't need to do that. Bay Photo is moving on to Fulfillment 2.0. And they're on 1.0, and it's those features that you're talking about are just 2.0. It's just a little, and graphic came on 2.0 right from the start. But we literally were like a day away from Bay Photo moving to 2.0, and then the pandemic hit. So they're still working through it, but I think we're just a couple of days away. So yeah, you're good to go.
Wonderful. Great questions. Thanks, Temi.
Thanks, Temi.
Okay. Andy, you're up next. You're unmuted.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to ask a question a little bit similar to Pat earlier. I am a photographer, full-time photographer. And I make most of my money working with Bassmaster, which is, puts on professional bass tournaments. I have the hard job of traveling around with them and shooting their tournaments. And
that's got to be fun.
So that's great, because I've got except for right now, a general, a good base salary or base income. I'm contract work. So I'm out of work right now, but I travel a lot. I mean, I'm on the road. Last year, I was probably on the road 25 weeks during the year. And so, that really pretty much takes out doing shows. It's just impossible. I'm here, a week, and then I'm gone 3 weeks, and it's got great benefits that I am able to, between tournaments when I'm traveling, it's my time and they're paying my expenses, and I get to shoot anything I want. And so I guess to get to my question is, I love landscape photography. That's what the ASF site's for primarily, some architecture. But I have this huge range of work. If I wasn't doing the Bassmaster travel, I think I could build up a name for, being a swamp photographer. I'm from Louisiana. But I don't have, I spend more time away from the swamp than I generally do in the swamp now. How do I really, I struggle with it. I'm working with John Lechner, and he's doing a lot of great stuff. He's handling my Facebook ads. He gives me great input, but I'm having trouble getting my mind around how to really market myself other than landscape or nature photographer, because I love waterfalls. I love the Southwest when I can get out there, you know, fall colors, upstate New York, Louisiana swamps. I mean, you name it, it's there. And so I don't know really the best way for me to market myself without being so dang generic that people get lost.
Well, Andy, your story doesn't sound generic at all to me. Like Andy, the traveling, you know, swamp photographer. Like, I mean,
slash Bassmaster.
I mean, yeah. I like, well, it would actually be like really entertaining to follow you on Instagram and Facebook, especially Instagram. Like, if you are telling the story of like where you're going in your life, and like, you know, you're kind of like showing all that stuff, and then you're there, you're in, you know, wherever, you're in Texas, and then
they won't let me in right now.
What's that?
They won't let me in right now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Louisiana.
That's right. I forgot. You're not allowed here.
Right.
Yeah. So, but in general, like, you know, you're traveling to a place, and then you go and you shoot the local stuff, and then you put that on Instagram and Facebook, and it's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of entertaining to follow you. You're doing all this different stuff, and so like from a content standpoint, I don't have a problem with that, because you kind of have like, you could totally build a brand around that, right?
Okay. And I do on Lechner's recommendation, you know, hashtag Bassmaster on everything. You know, I'm a bass photographer, and then there's some cachet that goes with that.
That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, and but I try to do, you know, videos, you know, live. I do a pretty good.
Do you have good relationships with some of the fishermen?
Say that again.
You have good relationships with some of the fishermen?
They hate me. No, that's not true. No, I do. Yeah. That's one of the great things about the job, is I get to be friends with them.
Okay, well then I'll tell you, there's some opportunities to water ski behind those guys, literally, figuratively, and every other which way that we're going to get into in just a minute. So
yeah, so when Pat goes into this live presentation, like on how to do Instagram lives, like pay attention to that. But also, those guys are potential like influential accounts, you know?
I never, you know what, I listening to all of the Instagram influencers, it never occurred to me to reach out to them.
Absolutely. Like, do something that just gives insane value to them and their people. Like, if it's like giving them a huge print, and then, you know, letting them do the giveaway as if it's them. You know, like our buddy Andy Crawford is doing this for all of my followers today. He's giving away an X dollar print, you know, and then you just run the same giveaway playbook. So they're coming to your site, they're signing up for your email list. You know, I think that's the thing, Andy. It's like, you can add as much content as you want to your site, but that's not going to change the fact that you've got to get more leads.
Sure.
In order to get more sales, right?
Sure.
And so
the giveaways have been really successful. I'm on my second giveaway, and man, Lechner's done a good job setting up all those ads, and I'm really, awesome. For $3 a day that I can afford right now. You know, it's really pretty successful.
That's great. And who he's referring to is one of our members, you guys, John Lechner. He's in the private group, and if you
worth every dime.
Worth every dime. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people love him. That's why we're letting him do it. Because, I mean, he's a photographer himself. He was doing great marketing for himself, and then he started doing it for other people. If you have traction, you should go to him. He can't make you magically get traction. So, you know, he can't solve the world's problems. But yeah, so that what I would do though, Andy, is when you're in a situation that the giveaways are working for you, the next step is just to like amplify that as far as you can go, right? And so what I mean by that is, you're doing giveaways typically with your own followers right now. That's one pond that you're fishing in, right? If you go to these other Facebook groups and Instagram accounts, right, then every one of those is like a brand new fresh pond, and you could have 10 giveaways going on at once, right? Like, or at
dude, I've got no money coming in. Come on. No, I'm just joking. I mean, I don't have any money coming in, but those are really cheap. I looked it up, by the way, at 16 by 24 fine art paper print at Bay is like $30.
Right. And photo paper has got to be even cheaper with them.
Yeah. Just regular
like a luster paper, a photo gloss.
Yeah.
So cheap, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can, but I think for you, like, you've got traction, you've got good sales already, you know? They're pretty, well, I mean, like, they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
I'm a third of the way to my goal.
But for you to like 10x your business, you gotta get way more leads in the top of the funnel.
Yeah.
And you have to do that by going outside of your current audience, right?
So I'm showing my ignorance here, and this is the first one of these I've jumped in on. But so when you run those contests with those influencers, you're running them through that contest page, that giveaway page that we
It's
built?
all the same. It's just that they're going to announce it on their Instagram feed, right? And then they're going to point them to your thing, and that's it, right? So you're hijacking or you're leveraging their following because you believe they have people who might like your art and could afford to buy it. You see what I mean? And so these are opportunities for you to just totally expand your reach. And what I would do is it's in our show notes. I would talk to Lechner about it. I would show him, and then you guys can strategize.
We might need to have a call with him too to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah, we'll talk to John too. But I think that any client that's working with John should consider doing this as well. No question, because that's how you're going to ultimately like really, really grow things. You know, every giveaway you're doing right now is like, obviously it's expanding what you currently have, but when you get all these other fishing poles in the water with all these different types of accounts, that's how you're really going to expand things. And I think that's where you're at, Andy.
Yeah, which is a good place. Good questions though. I think he's got some huge opportunities with the bass fishermen and being the swamp guy and really going down that route. So I think
Andy, if you got follow-up, I'll be on Instagram probably tomorrow if you want to chat more. But also you can also ask in the chat here, like if you have anything else for Taylor and Chris can answer that for you.
Yep, I'm trying to be democratic no matter what. This is hard, the wrangling. Okay, Suzanne, you're up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can. How you doing?
Great. Okay, so I just got onto the site and started my site about a year ago, but I haven't done very much about marketing and things sort of got in the way. And so I've decided it's time to do something about it.
All right.
I've got a few questions here. I get lots and lots of artists follow me, and that's not really that productive. So I'm trying to find ways of getting to people other than artists. I do abstract work, so I think that's a harder sell than photography. And they tend to be fairly big abstract pieces. So I'm sort of finding it a little bit difficult to get sort of any traction. I think I'm going to do a giveaway, and I ordered a few prints to do that. However, I'm in Canada and it puts quite a lot of cost on to have them arrive with shipping added. I'm wondering about getting a local person to do prints for giveaways. I think that might work out a lot cheaper.
Are you using Print Partner for your fulfillment?
No, because I think more people are likely to buy in the States than they are in Canada. It's a much
I like that decision. You still could go to his website and just buy a print from him.
Yes, well, that's what I was thinking. I think that's probably a good idea for perhaps giveaways. So that was sort of...
that I would totally do that. If I were you, I would totally do that. They have great quality. They've got good pricing.
Okay.
You could even call them and be like, hey, like if the pricing for some reason is higher, because there's exclusive pricing for Art Storefronts members. I would say, hey, I'm an Art Storefronts member, and maybe they'll do something for you, maybe not. But his pricing is good regardless.
Yeah, otherwise I have to pay for extra shipping if people do buy it to the States. So I thought it's probably, I've got to work it out for both. And how much should I be writing about each image when I put an image up on the site?
I think on the site or like on like social media or both?
No, on the site, underneath where there's a short and a long thing. Should I write very much or not?
I would write whatever you should write to, explain the inspiration and whatever is going to emotionally connect that visitor to your piece, but if you have a lot in the short description, it's just going to push everything down. Yeah. So you could put like a paragraph or two, like just look at it and see if you kind of like it. And then you can continue it in the long description.
Okay.
Right? So you could even like dot it, like an ellipsis, and then, and then do that in the long description so that, if they want to, they can just hover over that and they'll see it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I just need to get busy and do that because I haven't done it yet. And I know that when I've done it at art shows, it does help people to understand the work. And
Yeah.
I have one other quick question. It says on the site something about your websites. Can we only have one website with Art Storefronts, or can you build multiple ones with different URLs or, domain names?
Yeah, if you're an Art Storefronts member and you're going to use another website for yourself, like you're the business owner, you can't buy it for another artist, then then it's just all you do is pay the monthly fee for that extra website. That's it.
Oh, okay.
You can add a new website on our top plan for like $59 a month.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And the other thing is I have had stuff on Fine Art America and sold quite well over the years from their reproductions, but they tend to be work that I don't do anymore. And I'm wondering if I should just put them all on the site or forget about it and just leave those there.
I mean, how much a year do you sell on Fine Art America?
Well, I haven't done anything to advertise it for years, and I probably sell about $1,500.
Yeah, and I mean, they should be doing the advertising. That's the whole point, right? Yeah. Like that's the point of being there, because otherwise, you want them to go to your website, and that's the big problem, because you want them to go to your website so you have the relationship with the customer and you have their information, right?
Yeah.
And that's the value in your business long term. Fine Art America, let me be very clear. I know the company, I know how they do things very, very well because I've been in the art industry for 20 years. They basically have, I mean, it's honestly like genius from their part, but they have like kind of hijacked search engine optimization from every artist and photographer that's on their site. So they SEO your name, right? And so when people are searching for you, like when artists are doing their own marketing and handing out business cards, if somebody goes onto Google and is like, Suzanne Clark, like they might be the first one that pops up, or your website should be the first one that pops up if you have like Suzanne Clark fineart.com or SuzanneClark.com or something. But underneath that, they will be right there, and they'll have this really enticing link and heading and all that stuff to get people to click there, which drives me nuts because
it's even worse than that.
What's that?
In this case, it's even worse than that.
Oh, okay. He's got it right here. Yeah. So look,
named Suzanne Clark artist. Okay. Suzanne Clark, there's going to be millions of them. So that name doesn't work. You need another keyword, which artist suffice. The first result you can see is Fine Art America. That's why we hate these people.
And look, the second one is Absolute Arts and then Picasso. Those aren't you though, right? Suzanne?
Oh, I muted her because sorry.
Oh, I think you spelled her name wrong too. It's with a Z, if I'm not mistaken. I can't see her anymore, but
share. Things go so wonky when I share. Let me see if I can get her back. Well, anyway, the point remains, right? I think I spelled it right.
Can you unmute her still?
You gotta find her. Hold on.
Oh, actually, I can do it.
Oh,
you got it.
Yeah, you're right.
Those ones that are coming up are actually me, but there are a lot of older work that I don't do anymore. And I'm wondering if I should just take them all off, whether I should put them on my new site as well, because people tend to like them, but I'm sick of doing them.
Yeah, that's so fun. Like you are in the exact spot that a lot of people have been in where, your traffic is getting hijacked by these companies, right? And unless you are getting sales from them and you like those sales and you're happy with them, I would probably remove them and get them off and tell them to shut down your stuff. Okay. Like sometimes you have to do that. Like there's been a lot of Art Storefronts members who have done this and they've had to like contact the company, like take my images down, And like, if you ever are going to work with any of those types of companies, and I'm kind of mentioning this for anybody else that's on the call, most Art Storefronts members don't, like they just don't even bother. They've learned the lesson on it. But if for any reason you still work with some of those people and they're getting you decent sales, like I'm not telling you to stop doing that at all, right? Like ride that out until it doesn't perform anymore and then get rid of it. But always make sure that whenever you release any new images that you put them on your site first. Okay. And for at least call it like 3 months. And so that way, what Google does is Google looks for like the first instance of of like where they found that image. Like it's called the search engine spider. The spider will find that image on your site for like if you post it on social media and you promote it, and then they will record that you were the first one to actually post it, and so you're the likely owner of that, and therefore in the image search results, your link to your site will be there. So that way, if you upload to these other sites, you don't want them to take priority over you, right? So in the event that you ever do that, always make sure that you upload it to your site first and leave it there for a while.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Pleasure. Okay, so we're done with questions there in terms of people that raised their hand, so we can go into our.
That was a good session, Pat.
Yeah, I think so too. Let me get my thing. I got to make sure to unmute Susan. We'll keep hearing her. All right, we have one question from Mary. Hold on, Mary, you're up.
I had not been doing any of your programs, the giveaways and everything. And of course, nothing was selling. So after listening to all of these programs that you got, I decided to do one. So I did a giveaway and, I had a whole bunch of people sign up. Just before the end of the giveaway, it was recommended to me that because I have a large database of my own, that I import that into the Art Storefronts. Okay. And so that way, once I saw the detective or whatever, I'd be able to see who's actually marching through my store. They wouldn't be just guessed. So we did that. So I did that. I followed the header, uploaded everything. Everybody came in, but they came in as transactional. They showed up on my MailChimp as transactional because, which meant I couldn't email them because the opt-in column there was apparently something had to be filled in there that I wasn't told about. Anyway, we corrected that yesterday. So I was able to email everybody, and I'm looking at my detective right now and everything is coming in as guests. So what was the point of importing everybody?
Well, it's not for the reason that so if they it's not going to do what was told to you automatically, because the email address has to be associated with the actual visitor session, right, on your site. The reason that you want to have it in Art Storefronts is because Art Storefronts is actually your centralized contact manager, right? So everything should be in there. For example, like when they order from you, when somebody signs up on your email list or anything like that, if somebody fills out a form or signs up on your, like for any reason, and they type in their email address, or they register on your site, or they add something to their shopping cart and they don't check out, right? And they put in their email, that's the point where it will start tracking them, even though they haven't actually completed an order yet, right? Because the website knows, okay, we've got your email address, but we don't know who you are out there, right? And we need, as soon as you tell us that you're this person with this email address, we're gonna track you and every single thing that you do from then on, okay? But we are adding features into the contact manager, Mary, like notes in history, lead status, like hot, medium, cold, so that like if you're contacting collectors and things like that, you actually have a history of all of that. So it's, the common phrase is like a CRM, a customer resource management.
See, I use Daylight for that.
So we're building all of that stuff out.
Yeah, see, I have that all in Daylight, and MailChimp, I have my entire Daylight into MailChimp. Now, I have an unusual situation. I don't use your opt-in pop-up because I have this hybrid site where a whole bunch of my site is self-hosted, and then the shop is your site. They look the same. People don't really notice that they're on a different platform. So I can't have your pop-up because they've already gotten the pop-ups when they came to my site originally. So I'm not getting the signups through Art Storefronts. They're signing up through MailMunch, which feeds it into. So all of those signups I manually bring over to you. And I really thought the benefit was going to be that I was going to see all these things that are now marked guests, that they would have names to it. I still don't know which one of my contacts has been marching through the store.
Yeah, that's not gonna, it's only gonna change it to a person when we know who it is, right? But you must have a really good reason for adding that, doing this, your site that way. Cause you're really giving up a lot in terms of like, I mean, one of the main reasons to use our lead capture on the site is to have the contact conversion rate in the conversion doctor. It's the only way that you know whether you're generating quality traffic, because otherwise the traffic could be what we call vanity traffic. It's very easy to generate. And the only way that you know whether you're generating quality traffic from any marketing source is if the contact conversion rate is 5% or higher. And so you have no way of knowing that. So what I'm wondering is, what kind of marketing are you doing? And do you have any idea whether, the marketing to the site that you have is like, are those quality people? Would they ever buy? I mean, there's no way of really knowing that. So what, can you tell me, what is the reason that you have that other site? Do you have like another business reason for it?
No, it's just that I'm a web designer, and I started that site in '95. And of course, it's morphed over the years. And the site is a 3-part, it's actually a 4-part site. There's like the homepage would be, and about page, etc., are self-hosted. My art blog is a separate install. My garden blog is a separate install. And then yours is a 4th install.
And how's all that working for you?
It works fine until I imported everybody, and then I screwed up my entire MailChimp.
Yeah. So
what happened?
If
what happened this morning is that everybody I wrote to last night got introductory emails saying, "Welcome to joining my email list."
And that happened when you imported like a CSV file or something?
Yes.
Into MailChimp?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we corrected the problem of them not having the right protocol, that they got switched from a subscriber to a transactional on MailChimp. So then we added in the date that they signed up. This was yesterday. And this morning they all got welcome. Hundreds and hundreds of people who have been following me for years got welcomes to signing up for me. And then today we'll get a second one, and then a third one. And I thought at least the benefit would have been that I could have, that the names would be there. That's what I was told. I wouldn't have done that otherwise. So unless something's coming down the road, there's no motivation for me to put my MailChimp. Unless what you're saying is that
the welcome email. So I don't think your people will get hit with another email. She'll log in and do it. But I understand this. So this has happened to all of us that have been digital marketers over the years. So I can feel the pain, the frustration. It just sucks. It's a bummer.
I don't know whether to send out an email, an apology email. Yet one more email they're getting. Should I just let it be?
I think you just let it be. And I think given the time and how distracted people are anyway, it'll fade to the background.
Yeah. And I mean, hardly anybody sees emails these days anyway. Like there's 20% open rates. Like, I mean, there's only a percentage that even saw it in the first place, I wouldn't do anything. I would just keep on moving forward, you know?
Okay. So going forward, you're saying that I should manually put those people, sign them up onto MailChimp? They sign up on my MailChimp. Should I manually be putting them into Art Storefronts?
I mean, given the problems that you've had and what you're doing with this other site, like if you're happy with your sales and the business is going great, just keep doing what you're doing. I wouldn't mess with it.
Yep. Agreed. And you
if you want your sales to change and you want to do a lot of marketing and do the things that we're advocating, then I would try to follow what we're doing. You can still link to your blog, your other blog and some of those pages as external pages if you want to. But that's it's hard for us to help if you're outside the system and to get all the benefit. It's just harder. Like I could tell you to do 20 different marketing things, like in our plans, like all these things. And then, if you come back and some of them are not working, or, you want to know whether there's quality people coming in or not, which is a huge problem. It's a trend on some of these workshops. There's literally no way for us to know. And so I think that if you're not doing it on our platform, then take that advice and get it implemented somehow on your own site, like hire a developer or something to somehow figure out whether you're bringing in quality people on your email list on those other sites from your marketing efforts.
Okay, I'm going to go into a screen share and get into this Instagram live presentation a little bit. I think, Nick, I'd like to test. I'm going to test. Let's test and see if we can do it right now live. But obviously, one of the things that we've been doing, Art Storefronts as a brand, is having to get really, really creative with the marketing and coming up with new ideas, things that we don't ordinarily do, that can potentially be a challenge, and then teach you guys how to do them. And I just want to say what we've sort of learned and come up with on these Instagram lives is amazing. I mean, this is one of the most tactically powerful techniques I've seen in marketing, and I believe that streaming, Instagram live streaming, Facebook live streaming, YouTube streaming is going to be one of the breakout marketing hits for those that are capable of doing it of 2020, because it has so many interesting things going on. Now, I was like, how am I going to best teach us? How am I going to do this? And so I started writing a podcast, and I'm going to release the podcast. I'll either finish it today or tomorrow morning, which will give you sort of more of the context of why this is powerful, how this is powerful, some of the things that you can do. But I think we start off with just doing one right now, and you guys seeing how easy this is, and some of the features that you can do. And so I have a phone. This is actually just a dummy phone that's set up here, and we'll walk you through how to do it and some of the features that you can do. Nick, I'm going to need you to jump right on as soon as I get this going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here I am up at the top. You can see stories, and I might just do this. Can you see the drawing too, or no? Yes. Okay. So
Yes.
Here it is, stories. I'm going to go into stories. I'm going to click in the upper left-hand corner, and you can see that this is the normal story creation panel. And on the left-hand side of it is live, right? And so once that thing goes away, I'm just going to go ahead and press that. It's going to check the connection. And we're now live right now on Instagram. You could potentially go to Instagram. Don't do it because I want you to watch this. So I'm now live on Instagram talking. It's booting up, spinning up. We're telling your followers that you started a live video, and we should get some followers on here in just a second. We've got to make sure that I'm with the right Instagram account. Can you see it on your end, Nick? Did I lose you? I lose your audio? Oh, there we go. So images by Gretchen joined, right? So she's a friend, and so we can wave. So you have this ability to wave at people, right? And so when people come on, you can wave just like this. And it's sort of a subtle way to let them know, like, hey, I see you and I know that you're there. Or you could even just go, maybe just by Gretchen, we know her. It's like, hey, Gretchen, how you doing? And so I just called out Gretchen in the live stream, right? Which is pretty impressive. Oh, I just realized, am I not on my sharing screen? Nick, I can't hear you. Are you going to jump on?
I'm trying to. For some reason, I can't get on.
Yeah. So anyway, in addition to that, like, look at this. You can take a comment. Okay. I'm just going to start showing you. And you do like a little soft press on it, and I can pin the comment. And so you can use this as a way to essentially say, like, hey, Gretchen, I'm talking about something right now. I can't necessarily get to your comment, but I'm going to get to your comment in just a few minutes. And you're going to know it's the next one up because it's the one on the bottom there. Alternatively, if you have someone that's very big, a celebrity, someone along those lines that followed you, you could pin the comment that way and let all the rest of your followers know, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is happening. And the next thing I was going to show you, and if Nick can't figure it out, we'll just have to do it in a upcoming tutorial or whatever. But it's so easy. And Gretchen, if you're still there, maybe you can do it. Ask to join the stream. Scroll to the button and see if you can join, or anyone that's on there that wants to join the stream. I'd love to see you. And then I can just show you guys how easy this is. And yeah, there's Ben Think. What are you joined, Ben? Someone just give me the request to join. And Instagram's technology there. Thank you, Jonah. So now Jonah's a customer. So he sent a request that said, you want to go live? Okay. And so now Jonah's going to pop in and go live, and it takes a second, but this Instagram technology is so insane. It's like the fact that they've worked this out and got it to work that well. Jonah, how you doing? We're not going to be able to hear you because I got like the soft phone going on the live, but yeah, thank you for jumping in, and you're doing your first one tonight, huh? Yep. So Jonah's going to have one going on. He's emailed his entire list. I've been individually coaching some artists on the tactical of how this all works and how insane it is, and it's amazing. So thank you. I'll be on your one tonight for sure, right? So there I can remove Jonah, okay? And so now he's out, and now I'm back in the regular thing, okay? In addition to that, I can flip the camera around so it's not a very pretty view, and I can flip it back, right? Once it's done, okay, and you've seen the waving, you've seen the pinned comments, I can turn off the pinned comments, right? It's a little janky, but once it's done, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Are you sure you want to end your live video? I'm going to end it now. Now, What this has done is it's giving me 24 viewers that are on the stream. And what I would do is I usually like screenshotting this just so I have a little reminder of how many I got on that session. And then you can see here, it gives me the option to share this to my story. Now, if I share it to the story, which I'm just going to go ahead and do, instantaneously, it's popped in right here to my story. Not instantaneously, it takes a little while for it to process and for it to do its thing. So step one, let's just talk about how easy that was to do, okay? How interactive that was, how many people I was having comments with, the fact that I was able to bring someone else in, and the fact that I've now created a story that's going to live in my story feed for 24 hours. And I know a whole lot of you are not telling the stories. And, you know, I referenced this above the fold concept, which is, you know, newspapers used to be folded in half and you really only saw what was above the fold, right? Whether it was in the window or whether it was on a stack in a newsstand. The Instagram stories are the above the fold box, okay? Like in more ways than one. And I know a lot of you are not doing them on a regular basis. We aren't doing them on a regular basis. They're hard. They're hard to create, right? They're a pain. Well, as a result of doing that live session, okay, now I instantaneously have one right there. Sorry, my pen went a little wonky. I instantaneously have one right at the top. And that is just the beginning of some of the ROI that goes on here. Because not only do you get a story out of it, not only do you get to alert all of your followers, but you saw, it's, you know, it's interesting. Normally when someone's live, it'll say, it'll be this position right here. It automatically takes them to this position and it'll say live on it. So when you go live, it does that instantaneously. You can see no one's here doing this. We follow a whole bunch of people. Why is no one live right now? Because most people have not figured it out. And this next bit is literally what you pay us for. And I don't even, you know, I'm comfortable giving it up to you guys, but it is such a genius hack. It's mind boggling. So
at this point, we should probably go off live because it's we're going to have to end it. This is for the Zoom call only.
Yep. I'll do it. I'll turn it on. Okay. The Facebook stream's off. It's done.